Did you know that inverting intervals can completely change the emotions of a piece of music? Let's explore this fascinating topic. We are going to see how we can invert our intervals and affect how our listeners are going to hear the music and the emotions of the music. Let's see what is inverting intervals. If you are going to invert an interval, you are going to have whatever note which was in the bottom being up now, or whatever note which was up being in the bottom. For example, if you have this interval, we know that here is F, and the interval is from F to E. F is the bottom note. We are going to find the interval which is a seventh. You can also find the same F to E or E to F. E to F, where now you start your interval from E going to F, which is now a second. So you have seen that just making an inversion of an interval makes even the interval by number to change. Now, the first interval was a seventh from F to E. The second interval, which is from E to F, we are just using the same letter notes. E to F now is going to be a second. It means that the interval itself has changed from a seventh to a second. Inverting an interval does that. Let's see, from D, you are moving to B. When you are moving from D to B, it is going to be D, E, F, G, A, B. Is going to be a sixth. What if we start now from B to E? I've brought that B which was up down, it becomes a third. The top note being brought down by an octave makes that difference in the interval now. Instead of becoming a sixth, it becomes a third. From B to D is going to be a third. Now for this, our previous one, I brought the bottom note on top by an octave. Instead of starting from F to E, I'm going to start E, which is on top, to F, which has now been brought an octave upward on top. And this one is going to give you a second rather than a seventh. So we have seen how it affects the interval by numbers. What of interval by quality? Now let's see the interval of E to F. E to F is a seventh, and that seventh is a major seventh. It means that we have 5.5 tones here. E to F is going to be a minor second. F to E was a major seventh. E to F is now going to be a minor second. Apart from changing the interval by number, the quality also changes. We have seen that the major of seventh has now turned into a minor second. So even the quality changes. And you know that when the quality changes, the emotions of the music is going to be different. We have D to B. D to B was a major sixth. D to B is a major sixth. But B to D is a minor third. So it means that if you do an inversion of an interval, it is going even to change the quality of that interval. If you have a second by numbers, if you have a second, it is going to be a seventh. If you invert a second, it's going to be a seventh. If you invert a third, it's going to be a sixth. If you invert a fourth, it's going to be a fifth. If you invert a fifth, it is going to be a fourth. If you invert a sixth, it's going to be a third. And if you invert a seventh, it's going to be a second. By number, whatever it is going to be, the inversion by number is going to be, the total number is 9. For example, 2 plus 7 is 9. 3 plus 6 is 9. So in total, that number should add up to 9. What of quality? A major, when inverted, it becomes a minor. The other way around, a minor will also become a major. Perfects will keep their perfect. Whether it be a fourth or a fifth, perfect will become a perfect. If it is an octave, it is going to be a perfect unison. So when you do that inversion, the perfect will still remain to be a perfect. A diminished is going to move to augmented. When you invert a diminished, it's going to be an augmented interval. When you invert an augmented interval, it is going to be a diminished interval. So this is the secret of you to invert any interval. You can comment down by any interval of your choice which you like and how they invert.